Okay. All right, what's up, guys? It's Tyler here, part of the Team Let's Eat group, owner of Wolf of Wall Street, bringing you another analysis from November 14 through the 20th. We're going to kick this off with the basket in a couple pound pairs, and then we have some backup pairs and the dollar index to look over as well. So we're going to start it with the basket. So lately, we have had a pullback in the past couple weeks. Late in mid-November, we were expecting the basket to pull into the 9100 area, which it did, and that brought the pound yen down all the way down to 153, which is exactly what we were looking for. I think we got some really nice sell trades in there. But now that we're at this level, this is where I've been expecting a continuation to the downside. And let me mark this right here, right at 9100. So let me delete this. So I got the high of last week here, and I have 9100, the psychological level marked up. And from what we can see, price as it shot up here and it started stalling, correcting, it tapped 9100. A lot of people thought it was going to sell. What did it do? It spiked above here, above this high actually, and then it fell and it broke almost all of these lows besides this one down here. And then we've slightly pulled and inched our way back into this in between these levels here. And we closed off Friday with some bearish pressure. Right now, we are testing that 9100 area again. And my predictions for this week is we're going to break below this 9100 area again, maybe a slight pullback. And then I will see us continuing and trickling down towards these lows again. Because if you look at the flow of this, let me get my key level out here. Okay, so we have a nice double top around 9500 area. Pulls back to it, right? We come down to this low, slight pullback, and we absolutely free fall into these 8850 level. And then we had a nice corrective structure up to that 9100 area. And now I think we're going to continue this movement down again, at least to 8850, if not more. Right, this is what it's looking like on the daily. Right, so we actually had price try to get above this 9500 area. One spike, two spike, three spike, and it didn't happen. And then we just free fall all the way down here. There's a structure level here that hasn't been retested, but with indexes, it's not as like break and retest as Forex pairs. It's more of just the flow and the strength of the currency pairs. So I'm not really betting on price coming all the way back up to this 9200. However, if we can reach 8940 and we gain a lot of support, or we come all the way back down here and gain a lot of support, I think if we're going to change and go bullish again, that is definitely going to be the swing target. As of right now, I don't think that's the case, but I like to just put that out there as if it does happen and we see something like this. Where we go, right? Come all the way down here. I'm actually just going to draw, and we can do something like that, test this, and then another huge fall and possibly break down into these uncharted territory. So it all depends, but as of right now, as for next week, the main focus, of course, is going to be looking to see if the basket continues down. This will be the first target where I'm looking for support, but I'm definitely looking to see it, maybe over a 2-week or 3-week period, come down all the way to 88.50. But again, it totally depends on if we actually gain support or not. But just based off the flow of this chart, I'm definitely leaning towards seeing it reach these lows again. With that being said, translating to pound yen or any yen pair, basically, we're gonna be looking for buys. And specifically the pound yen, because we love those pound pairs. So last week we dipped into these levels, and I honestly thought we were going to move up last week, but we didn't, and that's totally okay. Let me go to the 4-hour. We already know, before I do that, the flow of this, how we have a nice, basically a huge daily squeeze here, impulse up, we pull back to retest the structure, and as long as the yen basket continues all the way down, then I think we're going to see a massive move to the upside, pull back, and maybe even hit these highs again, and so on. So I'm not going to try to predict too far. So if we're looking for buys, the place we'd be looking for is the low of last week, which is right here. Okay, and the first target is going to be the high of last week, which is right here. So with that being said, let's just move into the 1 hour and look at the structure. Like this. Oops. Drop this here. So we see this area that got flipped, right? And we tapped this low of 152.38. Then we pushed up, moved down again, didn't quite come all the way down here, and we pushed up again, couldn't break that. So what I would love to see is price come back down to this low once again, or the bottom of this 4-hour, which is why I have this level marked right here. So I'm really looking to place my entries right between these two levels, right in this. That's not even a 10 pip range, is it? That's like 8 pips. I really would love to place a buy entry right in there, because on the weekly level, what that will look like, let me delete all this nonsense, is this week would create a wick down here, which we all know how the wicks work, right? I want to show you something real quick, just as an example. We see a nice push to the upside. Then we have the week of stalling, the doji, all right? And then this is the week in 2 weeks of the next move to the downside. Now look what happened with this week. We opened, we came all the way up here towards this high. We actually spiked right above the high, and then we dumped. The next week, open, slight pull back, maybe a second entry, and we dumped to full target. Right, you can look at that literally anywhere, right? This move right here, doji, right? This is what we got right here. Next week comes up, comes by that high, moves all the way down. This week actually closed way up here, but I mean, that's definitely a take profit. That's 300 pips. Same thing right here, right? Massive push up. We get this week of not a doji, but it didn't move all the way, right? So after this week close, we were looking to sell. That's actually, we got a sell entry right up in here, because we had this level marked, this high, and then there's a structure level on the 4-hour. If you remember from a couple weeks back, we had that level marked, it went up there, and then we shot down for the next 2 weeks. So that's what I'm expecting for this week, but with the upside. Okay, so as of right now, we can see prices already moved up 12 pips, but that's spread. So, and there's absolutely no wick, so I can almost guarantee you we're going to come down here. Right here basically is where I'm looking at, which I believe is the 4-hour, that 4-hour wick, pretty much. Right, so I'm actually gonna keep it at this level to give it a little bit more of space to range to accumulate. Right, so 30 minutes. This is what I see. We're trying to push up. I think we're going to come down here, grab the orders, and then I think we're going to move to the upside, right? First target is 130 pips at this high. Why is that the first target? Not only because it's last week's high, but if my predictions are wrong and we're going to continue downwards, we're going to play and test the highs and lows of the previous week. So even if we're going to continue down and I'm completely wrong, we're still most likely going to come up into this area first. So either way, we're going to most likely come in here, whether we come up here and dump or we come up here, break it, and then, continue on and get a larger swing move to the upside, which this is the first target of. So we're going to stick to the buys analysis right now. We're going to stick to looking to enter a buy right here. As you can see on the 30-minute, that level I have marked up is a nice structural level that we got a nice push out, retest, and now we're going. So 100 something pips first, and the full swing is this structural level, basically 155. But if we look at this candle here, no wick, imbalance. So I just marked that level. And if we look left, it was actually respected very well here. So that is definitely going to be the first target. Let's go back to the 1 hour just to zoom out. So to me, when I'm looking at this left to right, I can almost see it. I can almost see these candles without them being there. Like, it just seems so natural for this market to want to pull up. And I'm going to break that down why with a screenshot of my, actually, I'm not going to use this pen because last time this computer glitched out. Okay, so let me show you something here. Double top entry. Let's say you get an entry right here. What does price do? Price breaks this structure and it pulls back. So we go like here, we pull back. See this space between this second entry, right? This space right here. What happens? Boom, come back again, right? We get the same sort of thing, full downtrend. What happens? Same thing, right? I think we're going to see that on a larger level here. That's why this is the first target. Now, if we break this, I think when the price decides to turn around, I don't think we're going to continue with the downtrend. If we break this, I think we're going to pull back and do the same exact thing, but we're going to start going in the opposite direction now. So where's my drawing tool? So right here, see? I think we're going to do something like this, right? See the space and flip to the upside. So I hope you guys kind of understand what I'm drawing out and painting on this. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about the flow of the market is, it pushes, it pulls, it pushes, it pulls, pushes, pulls. And then we're seeing it on a larger scale. And I could zoom out all the way to the daily and you can see the same exact thing. Now I got to erase all this. Where is the eraser? Where is the eraser? Someone help me. There's the eraser. Okay. That's why I like using my little pen to draw, because it takes a screenshot and I can draw on it and it looks a little bit cleaner, but it makes the computer glitch out. So I got to fix that for next time. So now without the drawings, I hope you can kind of see exactly what I'm seeing. Or pretty much exactly what I just drew out. So I can almost see that happening. And that's what I mean by, like, If we break, okay, so if we break this high, I think we're going to pull back and then we're going to hit this right here. And if we can't break this and we form a lower high, we are definitely going to come all the way back down to this low right here. If we do break it, I think we're definitely going to pull back and make a higher low somewhere around this area. Now, honestly, it would be pretty crazy to see this, and it's definitely possible, but I mean, if the yen basket just starts free falling, we could see this high be broken before we get the pullback, which would be crazy, and we'd definitely be selling that pullback because that's a huge move to the upside. So if we come up here, we start stalling, definitely going to be looking for sell entries, and then target is going to be around this level, this weekly high right here, and then full target would be this double top area, 158 area. But it all depends, It's all speculation right now, but that's definitely what's going to be analyzed. I'm actually going to make 2 levels right there. So target 1, basically, target 2, target 3. So plan of entry is literally just wait for price to get in here. And then once it is in here on the 10-minute, as soon as it starts looking bullish, like even like this, let's say I marked this low right here. And once price got to that low, see how we got this bullish candle, stall, bullish candle, even an entry like after this candle closes, totally fine, right? So I'm looking for something similar to this. So as soon as this pressure starts changing to bullish, entries will be placed, no doubt. But also look at the basket at the same exact time, But right now we're waiting. So given the fact that we want the pound yen to go down a little bit, it would be cool to see this come up a little bit. Maybe to like 91.20. If we can come up to 91.20, and that should give us enough to move down here, and then we can look to place buy or sell. Yeah, buys. Once that starts turning over again, you could use that to help you indicate they're not completely dependent on each other. So the pound yen can start moving up before this basket starts moving down, but they definitely help each other. So that's it for the pound yen. I'm looking for buys down by 1524, basically. Waiting. In the instance it doesn't come down there, simply if it just blasts past this high that my crosshair is at right now, then we'll be waiting for it to dip back below to market open where it's at right now. So if we just move immediately up here, then I'm waiting for it to come all the way back to the market open, not necessarily down here. But if it does do that, it comes down here and it moves back down there, then you already know we're just going to place more entries. So, but I do think it's going to come down here first. We'll put that back to where it was. That was on the open of this candle right there. Okay, I like my candles and lines very specific. Everything's very specific. So the second pair we're going to be looking at is the pound Aussie, which right off the bat, I can tell you I'm looking for some downside movement. Obviously, lots of bearish pressure here. You can see price had a very impulsive initial reaction to this level right here, and we have fallen to make this low, and then we have came up, and if you look closely, we actually tapped just above this high. Okay, but I have this level marked because this is the high of last week, but it also lines up with the structure, which you'll see a little bit more clear on the 4-hour time frame. But looking at the daily, what happens? So once we tap this level, we have stalled and we made this wick. The next candle is almost exactly the same. And let's break that down on the 4 hour. What did that look like? So retest of this level here, if you like your retests, here's that structural level. I said you can see a little bit better on the 4 hour, which the reason I marked it is because of the high, but it also lines up with the structure, which is not a coincidence. So in my mind, this is what I'm seeing. I want to sell at this level or higher because I'm seeing a nice squeeze. Okay. I also see this kind of, sorry. This box right here, which we'll get into in the 1 hour that got broken out of. Okay. So we all know this pattern. Where's my drawing tool? Push down like this, right? Makes a higher low. Maybe some people think we're changing structure, equal high. This is where we're at right now. Currently, we get one more and then we dump, right? So this pattern is a pattern we all know and love, and that's the pattern I believe that we're forming right now. So as far as entry goes, obviously we're looking to sell. So this box right here, we can see price made a high, we respected the low, high, and then we broke out. We broke out to the downside. So what I'm looking for, I'm gonna delete this line out the way. I honestly want to see this high taken out. I want to see, and you can see we're kind of stalling right here, right? So I think we will actually be able to do that. I want to see this high taken out, maybe tap 1.838. If we start rejecting from 1.838, I'm going to be taking sell entries as it dips below here again. Because basically what's going to happen is, let's say a lot of people sold even right here and then again right here, which makes sense to most people. And if you did enter, just hold. But a lot of the stop losses is going to be, above the structure, which is right here. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to come up and all of the orders of the stop losses are going to be filled, which is going to provide liquidity. And then we will see some movement to the downside, and that's when the entries are going to be placed for me and everyone else in the chat. So pretty simple with pound Aussie. Just spike up above these highs, maybe confuse some people, think about buying, and then drop it. Now, the other circumstance is that we come up and test this weekly high right here, which I think if we're going to do that, it's going to just blast through, which obviously if we just blast through, we're not going to sell, right? Because like I said, I want to see it come up here and then come back below this level again. So that is what we'll be waiting for. Unless it does come up here, then I'll be looking for the same style of entry right here, how we're taking the stop losses out and entering as it dips back below. That's the same exact thing I'm gonna be looking for up here. So if we do happen to move all the way up here to like 1.843 or 1.844, as it dips back below here, I'm gonna be placing the sell entry because that would just further squeeze this, which the tighter it's squeezed, the harder it pops. That's what I like to say. So I don't think we'll come all the way up there, but it's definitely possible. If we look on the daily level, the second, or I guess just another reason why I want to see price come all the way up above here, because it'll wick slightly above these candles right here, which in a similar sense of right here, before we dumped, we wicked above the previous day, right? And then we fell. And same here, right? Before we dumped, we wicked above the previous day and fell. And same here, right before we dumped, we wicked above the previous day and fell. And right here, I know I'm sounding annoying, repeating myself, but the same thing. We wicked above the previous day and fell. Same here. We have the doji, right? We have this high, wicked above that. This one didn't wick above it, but we came close, right? We pulled back within that high, and I believe we actually sold there, and we sold here because I remember we had this level marked up right there. Actually, we had these two level marked up. I totally remember. We had these level marked up, and I literally said we're gonna, once we get in between these levels and make a wick above these, we place a sell entry, and that's what happened. So that's why I always look at that. So that's the plan of entry. However, if we don't and it just dumps, then so be it. There's not a valid entry to get in. But based off of what's happening right now and the fact that this is a support that price is currently at, I definitely do think we are going to be able to spike above this. So that is the plan of action for the pound Aussie. And as far as pips go, we are looking at 240 pips. And another reason I think we're going to go down is if we are going to change structure and go up, I think we're going to make a double bottom here. And if it's going to be a true double bottom, we're going to see when it dumps, it's going to dump slightly below this low. So we can truly hold the trade all the way down here because, you know, like I say, if the trade is going to go, it's going to go. Like you don't have to take all these partials every like 30 or 40 pips, you know, I mean, identify a level or two, kind of like how pound yen, you know, partials here, very, very, very small partials right here. But then I'm holding everything to right here. This is a 200 pip gap, 150 pip gap, possibly 250 pip gap. I'm not going to take any partials in between, right? Even if it chops around here for like 3 days, it doesn't matter. Because if it's going to go, it's going to go. So that's it for the pound pairs this week. Personally, these two trades are basically the only trades I'm going to be looking at. I don't really have a big interest in any of the pairs, but we are going to go over two more. But yeah, that being said, you know, 90% of my focus is just entering these two because the pound pairs are personally just the ones I like the best and I'm in sync with the most, and they move the most pips. Pound pairs move way more pips than other pairs. But we do have a couple of the pairs to get into, so let's get into the dollar index. If you guys remember from the previous weeks, price was up here and I drew the support, and I think we're going to pull back to around the support and then test as high again. And if we break this, we're going to go to 95, and that's exactly what happened. Interestingly enough, gold has also been absolutely ripping to the upside at the same time the Dow index is, which normally doesn't happen. So it's a little strange to see that. But now that we're up here, you can see pretty much right here after 94.85, price started to get a little choppy. Okay, double EMA. I know I actually don't talk about that a lot, but when it switches and it's hovering above price, then we're looking at price slowing down significantly. And that's what's happening right now. Now, this is a lot of bullish pressure. So there's a clear chance that this bullish pressure will continue, but I am expecting some sort of pullback. I'm just marking the weekly high right here. And then I'm going to mark this structure level right here. So in my eyes, this is the range that we're now going to play in, right? At first, it was from here to here and this miniature level right here. Right now, this is the range I think we're going to play within. I think we have a minor support forming at 94.85, right when it started getting a little choppy. So I think we could possibly come up here and make a double top and move down. That's the most likely thing that's going to happen in my eyes, because looking at the double EMA, typically what will happen is we see the cross, either bullish or bearish, and we see price separate from the double EMA, and then we see it come back to it and hit it again, kind of like right here. It works more on forex pairs, but that's just adding to the double top, which is really what I'm looking for, is a double top right here. Now, if we break this and we just keep going up, so be it. But I do think we're gonna come up like this. Where's my drawing tool? I do think we're gonna get something like this. From here, I don't know. We have to assess and wait, and obviously fundamentals play a huge role in the dollar index. So, that always changes things quite a bit, which why I don't really forecast the dollar index too much. But yeah, for right now, I think the next two moves is up here and then down here. From here, if the fundamentals is good and the pressure continues, I think from here we will continue up. Otherwise, we might hit this low right here of 94.6. Translating that into gold. Honestly, they haven't even really been translating that much, because as you can see, the Dow index has been ripping, and so has gold. Gold has been ripping. The past 2 weeks ago, we got really nice sell entries down to 1760. With the pullback up to this level and the NFP news being good, which helped rip the dollar up, I was expecting gold to come down to the 1745 or 1750 area, which this candle right here is when the NFP news hit, and I had sell entries from this drop, and then slightly before the news I had another entry, and for whatever reason gold just decided to absolutely rip, even though fundamentally and from a technical standpoint, we got the rejection, we got the fundamental news that everything was lining up for gold to move down, and it just snapped up. So I stayed out of gold all last week, and I'm most likely going to stay out this week, but I just going to want to analyze it for you guys. So this is the range right now, which is about 230 pips. What I'm thinking is we're possibly going to hit this level again. Okay, if we break this high, I want to see price come up here to this exact high. Actually, we're going to go to 30-minute. Okay, gold likes to be played on the lower time frame. I want to see price come up and hit this high again. And if we start rejecting it, possibly going to be looking to enter a sell. This is the target down here, right? Normally, we're taking big swings, but gold has just been so crazy that this is definitely going to be the first target. The second target is going to be this candle open right here. This crazy candle. I forgot what news did this. There was a news. 8:30 is always when the news happens. I think there's some orders down here that haven't got filled. So these two are the two targets if gold is going to sell off. It's just a matter of waiting and seeing if gold really is going to sell off. I think if it is going to, it's going to make some sort of structure to get a lot of retail traders in the market and selling, and then After it looks perfect for a sell entry and everyone's entered sells, I think it's going to snap up and take everyone out and then just completely dump to here or here. Right? So where's my drawing? So, maybe we go something like this. Maybe we even make the double top and we break the structure and we go like that and we start rejecting and then everyone starts selling. And then I think we're going to go like this, bam, and then dump. Take everyone's stop loss out because there's a lot of manipulation within this market right here. But if you're on the right side and you know how to trade it, then it's extremely profitable. So, that's what we're here to do. So that's it with gold, really, is just waiting for the right time to enter. I would only consider entering when it snaps up. So I would prefer to enter actually on this line or very slightly above it. So I want to enter when the banks do. And you can tell when the banks do because they're going to stop everyone out and then it's going to start turning really, really fast. So you got to keep a fast eye for that. Also with gold, it typically will do that an hour or two before New York session opens. So kind of time the structure and the New York session open, and you can find the snap in either direction and then it continue down. Like this right here. Would say everyone was buying right here and the stop loss is under, the structure, but price barely took them out and then just flew hundreds of pips. I mean, what's that? Basically 500 pips. So that's the type of entry I'm going to be looking for here. I'm going to looking for entry. I want to snap above here and then entry above here. Honestly, an entry between 1868, I guess that's 1869 really, and 1870. That's it for gold. Like I said, these two trades we're about to get into Aussie Chef are kind of like the backup trades, just because they're more sporadic. These two are what I'm really looking to actually enter. Let's get into the last pair I got for you guys. So, odd Swiss franc. So, drawing tool. Actually, no, we'll just highlight low, higher high. And we'll start right here. Here's a low, here's a high, here's a lower low. Now we have a higher high. Now we have a higher low. Now we have another higher high. And now we have another higher low. So what does that mean? Buyers, right? So if we determine that, if we're determined, okay, we're looking to buy, let's get in touch with the flow of the market and we'll see what's going on. Let me move these. That's the high right there. Right there, delete this one so it's not in the way. So this is the low of the previous week. I'm going to mark that with a key level. And I'm just going to zoom right in. So low, high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, entry, higher high. That's what I'm looking for. We can see, let me delete these. This is the squeeze right here. This is what I see. This is exactly what my eyes are looking at right now. We see the squeeze, we see the pop. We actually seen a push up and a pullback. Now we've seen a push up again. Simply based off of the fact on the weekly level candle time frame, I'm expecting a wick for this week. This structure level sticks out to me. That's where I'm expecting the wick to go. It also lines up with the middle of the squeeze, which honestly an entry right here would have been great. But I do think, see how slow this climb was? I'm pretty certain we're going to come down here. Now, if we come down lower, this is the next level. Let me delete this. So I normally have two minor levels marked, and my entry will be placed in between them. So this is really the range of where I'm looking to place my entry. And then obviously the stop loss is going to be under this low here. So what I see is this was the low. Then it got stopped out right here. Then it started buying again, but then it quickly came all the way down here, stopped everyone out right here. And that's when it actually started changing. So that's why I don't think we're going to come out and stop these people out, because it already happened. So now I'm just looking for price to come back down to a respectable level that we can enter off of. We also have this little bit of imbalance right here. You can see price has not came back to it. We had it here. And then what happened? We started pushing, and then the bank said, hold on. We got orders down here. So they came all the way back down here, and then they took off. And I think this week we are going to most likely pull back into this range. It'd be interesting to see if we pull right to this level or not. So just for fun, let's see where this goes. That's interesting, huh? So what I just drew, if you aren't aware, is the profile, fixed range volume profile. And it basically, all of these are orders at certain price levels. So all the orders at all these different price levels. I changed the settings a little bit, so it shows a little bit different than if you just go to your toolbar and use it. And this red level is where most orders are placed within the highlighted area. So as you can see, I highlighted from here because in my opinion, this is where the banks stepped in all the way to here, because that's when it started taking off. And look at where most all the orders are, right in the middle of the squeeze, which the reason I was predicting that or talking about that before I highlighted this, that's not coincidence. I really do think we're going to pull back right to the middle of that squeeze before we take off, because that's where a lot of orders are being placed. So you can use that tool with your own free will and exploration of how it works, and tweaking it and using it to a way that it works for you. I don't use it a lot, but sometimes I throw it on there just to see if it lines up, and a vast majority of the time it does, which is just another confluence. That's pretty much it. I got some stuff marked up here on the Bitcoin. I'll show you real quick. Right, we got the flow here. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, one more thing with the odd CHF daily. Let me delete all this crap. For anyone that likes Elliott Wave, that's what I see happening as far as the Elliott Wave theory goes. I think if we're gonna go, we're gonna go. And if we're gonna break this high, we're going to break the high. So hold it. And I think this is going to be the level that we hit right here. Basically 0.70, but a little bit under that. Now, with these odd pairs or any pair besides pound pairs, look at this whole thing is 270 pips, but look how long it takes to move that. 28 days. 20 trading days. 11 days. 8 days. 24 days. That's why I trade pound pairs a lot, because it doesn't take 20 days to move 250 pips. It can move 250 pips in 1 day. That's one of the other main reasons why I like the pound pairs. So a way you can cope with that, which is what I normally do, is so this is going to be the first target right here. On these pairs, you can place way bigger lots than on pound pairs. Because look, if the entry is right here, the stop loss is under here. That's a 20. I mean, essentially, you could use a 20 pip stop loss, right? Because if it's going to go, it's not going to break below that. It's going to make a higher low and go. 20 pip stop loss to 117 pip take profit. You can use a way bigger lot on these pairs than you can on pound, almost double, honestly. Because on pound pairs, normally my stop loss is like 40 pips. This is going to be 20. That's literally half. So yeah, I mean, you could quite literally like double your lot size on these. Obviously, stick to your own risk program or system that you have. But this is target one. Then this is technically target two, these highs. But like I said, if it's gonna go and it's gonna make the highs, then just hold it. Just hold the whole thing. The money is not made until you close the trade. Okay, so close the trade at the take profit, not before it. This is technically a take profit one, so you can close part of it right here, probably half of it, and leave the rest, man. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? This price is going to come down and it's going to stop you out, and you took this bag right here, and you didn't get, I mean, nothing happened right here. So worst case is you make this much profit, 118 pips profit. Best case is you make the 250. So you might as well just hold it. We made the double top. It's not going to come up here and make a double top. It's going to come up here and blow past the top, make a new high. If it's going to do it, it's going to do it. So just hold it. Same with this. Honestly, I would not be surprised if we get like a 2 or 3 week swing all the way up here. So I am most likely going to hold some of my position from all the way down here. I will hold some of it all the way up here. I'll move the stop loss. I'll probably just put it on my entry. And as it makes new higher highs and higher lows, I'll move it slightly. And once we hit this level and this level, 85% of the trade is going to be closed. So a vast majority of the position will be taken off, but I will leave a small portion to try to capture all of that, because even like 1/5 of the full position on 600 pips is a lot of money, which 85% of it was closed here. I'm not even, if this level gets blasted through, like it wasn't even there, I'm not going to close any there. The only way I'm closing here is if we come up here and we start stalling heavily, then I'll close. But if we just kind of like go like this and just kind of blow past it, then I'm not going to close something right there. these two are the two levels where it'll be closed. Basically 155 and 156, but just slightly above. So we got the 0.2. Yep, and then the pound Aussie sell. So that's it, guys. I will send this in the group chat super quickly. Ripple's really wicky on the daily, but if you can kind of look with a clear vision, you can see this resistance is now a support, and we are stalling on the support. What I'm waiting for is that double EMA to get under it, and then that's how you know we're really going to go. Because look, right here, see how it was stalling right here on the support? Double EMA was on top of it though the entire time. Boom, all of a sudden the double EMA is on the bottom of it, and what happens? We take off. So just waiting for that to happen again. Double EMA. No one knows about the double EMA. I shouldn't be sharing it on YouTube, but it's okay. All right, guys, that is it.